Welcome to the Knit Together podcast. My name is Julie. It's been about 2 weeks since I last made a video, so I'm here to give you an update. The sun is setting quickly, and I didn't record earlier, so I'm gonna do my best to make this as quick as possible. The good thing is I don't have too many new things to share, a lot of updates, and yeah, we'll make this quick. So I'm wearing my Flax sweater, which I think I've worn previously. The sweater was the first sweater I knit. It's designed by Teague Knits, and I use Paton's wool worsted classic, hand-dyed with grape Kool-Aid, and I like the sweater a lot. I wear it mostly like as a sweatshirt. It has some color inconsistencies, so I don't typically wear it outside. It's also like very felted, another reason why I don't wear it outside, but at home I sort of wear it as a sweatshirt. I have a couple of works in progress, no finished objects, and then a little bit of spinning. I feel like it's getting incrementally darker as I speak, so we're gonna make this quick. My first work in progress is something that I've shared previously. They are my pants that I've been working on. So these are cable cross joggers. It is by the designer on Ravelry called Knitatude. Last time I think I was confused on why they were called cable cross. It's because the pockets that you end up putting on have little cables on them. It has a like double brim waistband with a I-cord drawstring, and right now I am working on like she calls it the body, so it's basically like the hip area, hip and butt area. I just put it on knitting. I have like DIY knitting barber cords. They're not like sold as any barber cords, but I put them on those recently to try them on, and it seemed a little wide. I checked my gauge, and my gauge is a little bit big, so I'm a little bit concerned, but I might knit until you separate the legs, because I think then when the fabric, right now it's just all like one piece because it's supposed to fit like the hips and butt and everything like that, but when I separate the legs and like create the crotch for the two legs to go to create space for the two legs, I think that will hopefully like shape some of the extra fabric that I'm seeing right now, and if I get to that point and it doesn't work out great, I will probably frog back. Yeah, I have enjoyed this pattern so far. I'm using Leith to knit these pants. The shade, the color is 1407. I purchased 10 50-gram balls of Leith, which according to the pattern should be enough yardage. So yeah. I'm also, one other thing, I mentioned that my gauge is a little too big. Probably about a year ago, I started transitioning from like throwing style knitting, so knitting English style, to picking, like continental style, where I hold my yarn in my left hand. And when I was throwing the yarn, my gauge was typically like pretty on target. However, I've noticed over the last year, and like specifically like in the last 24 hours, that my gauge is bigger when I pick. I think I'm not as good about tensioning the yarn in my left hand. So of course I should always knit a gauge swatch. I didn't knit a gauge swatch for any of the patterns any of the projects I'm talking about today. But if I forego knitting a swatch, I should, one, suck it up when there are consequences, because it's not my own fault that I didn't knit a swatch. But two, if I want to try to mitigate the consequences, I think it seems like it's a good idea to go down in needle size, just because like this came out a little big. I tried to do research and like tried to do my homework and predict whether or not I need to do a gauge swatch. So one of my sweaters I knit in Leith used the same size needles and had the same gauge as these joggers. But now that I'm thinking about it, I knit that sweater throwing style, so my gauge was like on target, with a different construction with like bamboo needles. And for these joggers, I've been knitting them on stainless steel needles, picking style. So those are just two different influences on my gauge. So yeah, long story short, it personally looks a little big to me, but we'll see. If I need to rip back, I'll rip back, because again, it's my own fault that I did gauge swatch. All right, so those are my cable cross joggers. One last thing, I love working with Letlopi. I like specifically purchased Letlopi for this project, and the screen's really nice. Hopefully you can see it, but there's like really nice heathering, and sometimes there are parts of the yarn where it's like more yellow, darker green. So I've been enjoying working with this a lot. Okay, the other project that I had already been working on in a previous episode is my Ripple Bralette by Jessie Maed Designs. I've made some progress. This lives in a bag that I don't see very often, so I don't get to do a ton of progress on it. Also, 3x3 ribbing is not my preferred stitch pattern. I prefer working stockinette. I mentioned how I've been switching to continental knitting. For knit purl designs, I still knit English style with the yarn in my right hand. I think I just get better tension and consistency between my knit and purls. This is, I mentioned it's the Ripple Bralette. It's by Jessie Maed Designs. I am using Knit Picks gloss fingering. The yarn that I'm using is leftover yarn from a shawl that I knit. So the white is the Bear colorway. I have this much left, and the purple is called Plume. I think in a previous episode I probably had like musings about, oh, is it like feather, like bird, plume? I don't know. Plume and Bear. I think this should be enough. It's definitely, I'm pretty sure this is enough plume. If I run out of white, it's not a big deal. I'm definitely planning to make like the stripes purple or something like that. If I might have a whole nother hank, like a whole nother 100 grams of this. If I don't, it's not a big deal. I'll just finish it in this purple color. There are a lot of projects in Ravelry for this pattern, and the different people that have made it have indicated like how long they made the body, because if you want to make a true bralette, then the body would be pretty short. But if you want to make a little bit more of like a crop top or something in between a bralette and a crop top, you know, you'd want to make it longer. So the length that I'm shooting for is, I think, 8 inches, and I'm just not quite there yet. So once I get there, I will stop the 3x3 ribbing in the round and move on to the next phase of the project. I'm going somewhere warm next weekend, but I don't think I will have this ready yet. So darn. That's the Ripple Bralette. We're trying to move things along. The next project is another just sort of floppy tube right now. This is what's going to be the Leith hat by Ysolda Teague. The Leith hat is a new pattern of hers that is designed for beginners. So the pattern walks you through how to make this hat, both in the round and flat. I have the tools and skills to knit it in the round, and that's my preferred method for knitting it. So that's what I'm gonna do. The Leith hat is basically it's a double brim hat and a like single thick like crown hat. I am knitting this as a gift. Hopefully I'll have it done by next weekend. I think I probably will, because it's knit on like somewhat small needles. I'm knitting on size 5 needles, so it actually recommends 6, so I actually sized down, because at the beginning I noticed that my gauge was a little bit big. I haven't measured it since, but I'm gonna trust the process. I am using yarn that I shared in my acquisitions last week. This is Valley Yarns Haydenville DK. It's one of the store brand yarns from Webs. I purchased this yarn because of the fiber content. It's 60% superwash merino and 40% acrylic microfiber. Sold in 50-gram bottles. This is the navy color. And the person that I am knitting this for does not really know what's coming. We talked about what he would want in a hat, because I guess he lost the navy hat, and he was telling me, like, I asked him a bunch of questions, like trying to understand what it was like. He doesn't know that it's like in progress, and might not even remember that I told him I would, you know, try to knit him this double brim hat. I am super excited to knit this. I have 150 grams of this yarn, so right now I'm following the Leith pattern, but maybe I'll talk to my friend a little bit more. Maybe then they'll ruin the surprise. He had originally said that he wanted like a double brim hat and just like a single layer on the crown, and I was going to modify the Ysolda Teague muscle burrow hat design to make it for him, and then she came out with this design, and it literally like ticked all the boxes that I needed. So I guess since it's what he wants, I'll just stick with the Leith pattern because it's like perfect. Although I showed him when we were talking, I showed him the crown decreases I made on a previous muscle burrow hat, and he liked those. I think the Leith hat has a simpler crown decrease pattern because it's designed for beginners. He really liked the crown decreases on the muscle burrow hat, which are a little bit more like center double decreases in a couple different spots. So now I'm just thinking aloud, but welcome to the thoughts in my mind. I think I'll probably do that. And yeah, this yarn is also incredibly soft. I mentioned that I purchased it because of the composition. It is machine washable, not dryable, but that'll make it easier for people I know to wash and dry it. I would like to knit some accessories for someone else as well. So, you know, if this goes well and makes it through like a wash cycle okay, I might buy more to buy to make like knit accessories for other people, because someone else definitely wants a hat the same, basically it is in the same specifications. So yeah, so far it's looking really nice. The stitch definition is really nice, which is definitely different after working on something like the Letlopi, where stitch definition is not great. This is like a lot better. It's also getting very dark, so I'm gonna make this even quicker. So this is a Leith hat. The Haydenville DK is new yarn to me, and I'm enjoying this so far. Okay, the last thing. I did some spinning recently. I think I showed you the singles that went into this yarn last time, so I won't talk about it too much. This is almost 8 ounces of wool. 2-ply wool is, I was just told it was wool. I purchased from Bralette Yarns, which is a mill in Maine. I did not get to go to Maine, unfortunately, but I purchased it from them at a fiber show. It's nice and heathered. There are lots of different colors, mostly purples and blues and reds, with different like tweedy bits. I have some left over, and I thought I brought it so I could show you, but I guess I don't. And since the sun is actively setting, I'm not gonna go run and grab it. I'm gonna go grab it. So my phone also thinks it's too dark. I was literally turning the flash on. Hopefully this works. So my 2 bobbins were a little bit uneven, so there is a little bit left over. The leftover is what I want to talk to you about. Since the electric eel wheel 6 wheel, which is the electric wheel that I have, it's not open source, but there is a lot of like user customizable support going on. The inventor, Maurice, had put these 3D printable CAD drawings on the internet for storage bobbins that you can print yourself. I have a coworker who 3D prints things as a hobby, and he was nice enough to make me this storage bobbin. He said that it used about like $2 worth of supplies, and he mostly was able to just like click print and it just printed. So the bobbin is 3 pieces. If you're familiar with the electric eel wheel 6 bobbins, it's very similar, just thinner. So it's the 2 like end pieces and then the axle, I think. Everything screws together, so everything is threaded. I can't show you anything, but you can show you, they twist, so they're threaded. So if you're not using it, you can undo it and then it'll pack flat, mostly, except for the fact that the axle is round. And then also to use this, you could print this drill bit piece. So this is actually 2 pieces that he super glued together. And basically the drill bit piece here has notches for the like rays coming out of the center. And so you can push it in, put this on a drill. It's like the hex, like a drill. And then I had put, to move the singles from the original bobbin onto the storage bobbin, I basically had this near the wheel and just took the drill, started it, and sort of did this to put yarn onto it. I can link a video of Maurice demonstrating, and it worked pretty well. The one complaint I have, and something that we might work on, is this drill bit piece not fitting and clicking super well with the wheel. So something that I'm gonna investigate is whether or not I could like super glue this piece to this piece. My thinking is that the one constraint is whether or not the lazy Kate that I have, whether or not that spool piece needs to poke out of this hole up here. Because if it needs to poke out of this hole, or if it even is flush with the top of this, then this drill bit being here is going to mess that up. So those are the things I'm thinking of. This yarn has been on this bobbin plied for at least a week now. So I'll probably move it onto my PVC Knitty Knotty, get it washed, dried, and try to count the yardage. So yeah, I'm super stoked. I think this is probably like the biggest spin that I've done so far. I have some sweater quantities of fiber that I want to work next. So this was also a little bit tough to work with just because it was a little bit matted. It was not like worsted prepped at all. So that partially contributed to the neps, or like there were just neps already there. So it was a little bit challenging to work with. So hopefully some of my more like meticulously worsted prepped fibers will be a little bit easier to manage. That's basically all the updates I had to share. A quick tip for people that might also use storage bobbins. I learned this on the internet, I think. I'm pretty sure I did not come up with this. But you can use those like disposable wristbands that you might get at an event or like a festival or something, and you can leave them on your storage bobbin. So I did that for this project when I had each of my singles, and also on this when I like each time I finished a bobbin of singles, I put a little tag on. And then especially since this singles is probably just gonna live here for a little bit until I have something to apply it up with, I'm just gonna label it like this. The one like, you know, point of caution is if you have one of these labels on your bobbin, take it off before you put it on your wheel and are spinning it at however many like thousands of RPM. That is not a good idea to have this little thing swinging around. It's probably gonna get caught on something. And then it's also, the nice thing about this, which I've noticed, is that you can like peel open the wristband and reuse it. So they're not like single use. They were pretty cheap on Amazon, so I probably won't, like, once I've labeled this, singles, I probably won't use this wristband to label something else, although you could, because there's still a perfectly good backside to it. What I'm trying to say is you can move it from like one bobbin to another if you needed to, which is what I did here. So yeah, that's my tip. Those are my updates. I have no acquisitions. Oh, I have a book, but I'll show you that next time. It's a book about like knitting in different places all over the world. I got it at a used bookstore close to where I grew up last weekend. So I'll show you that next time. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully the light hasn't been too bad. Hopefully the flash helps and there's not too big of a difference from when there's definitely gonna be a difference from before the flash and after the flash. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, like the video, leave me a comment, subscribe. I try to upload up videos every 2 weeks. This is probably one of my quicker ones. And yeah, hopefully I always have something interesting new to talk about. And hopefully this is interesting to you. All right, bye.